might have sort of predicted comfortably Boeing would crash and burn. It did overnight. Put that one into context as well, because the airlines themselves seem to be casting aside this controversy over the Dreamliner.
We did see airlines very much in focus yesterday after Japan grounded the 787s. We saw Japan Airlines as well as ANA Airlines. And it was quite interesting to see the airlines move on the Japanese market, because there wasn't a huge impact. On one hand, we did see ANA shares actually trading down, or all Nippon Airways down by more than 1%. But on the other hand, we saw Japan Airlines actually up by 1%. The fact that there is this uncertainty hovering over Boeing now, which supplies these dream numbers, I guess is a negative for the stock. And we'll really have to wait to see the cause of the smoke that's caused the fleet to be grounded, and to see whether it is quite a serious issue for Boeing on what the financial impact may be. But for the time being, I guess it's more of a PR exercise. The perception, especially when you're flying. I mean, I flew on a 787 back from London this week, so just hearing about it in the news sort of makes you a little bit more worried. So Japan Airlines, ANA, not a huge impact in terms of the grounding yesterday, but for Boeing, I think the impact really depends on the investigation and what the cause of the troubles are for the Dreamliner.
A bit weaker. In terms of whether people, jump up and down with bad news, it seems like everyone's taking the 5% fall in the iron ore price, pretty much in our stride, because a lot of people have been saying it can't remain at these very lofty levels. However, we are seeing pressure on those iron ore plays. How much of a drag do you think that might be?
We are expecting to see the materials space once again dragging on the market. And as you mentioned, Brooke, we saw the iron ore price down by 5% overnight, so at 145.40. But we have seen the iron ore price doing very well. Since the lows in September, we've seen a rise of about 70%, and from those lofty levels we have seen a bit of a pullback, so it has been quite a steep rise. Now, it is in the face of some numbers that we have seen coming out of China as well as globally. Yesterday we saw foreign direct investment, and we actually saw a decline of 4.5%, and that was more than double what the market was expecting. The market was expecting to see a decline of 2% there. Of course, we also saw the World Bank downgrading its forecast for global growth from 3% down to 2.4%. But the big set of numbers for China comes out tomorrow, where we will see fourth quarter GDP. The expectation is that we'll see an annualized rate of 7.8% there. But we'll also see the December numbers for industrial production, retail sales, as well as fixed asset investment. So tomorrow is going to be a big day for those material plays. But the fact that we've seen the iron ore price decline, that means that we will see the material majors declining also. And if we have a look, the impact is bigger on Rio Tinto rather than BHP. And that's because Rio Tinto derives around about 90% of its earnings from iron ore sales, whereas BHP, most of that is oil and gas now. So we did see Rio Tinto down overnight. It was down 0.9% in London and down by 1.8% in the US, whereas BHP, we actually saw a rise of 0.2% in London and a slight fall of 0.6% in the US. So it is going to be those stocks which are either just single commodity players like Fortescue and Atlas which see the biggest declines. But of course, today is also index expiry on the market, and that means that anything can really happen. So we are expecting to see a bit of volatility in this area. Not only are we watching stocks like BHP, Rio Tinto, Fortescue and Atlas, but we're also watching the steel plays. We saw steel futures down, so we're watching BlueScope Steel as well as Arium, and we might see some downward pressure there as well.